Hey everybody, what's up? How are you guys doing? It's me, Marcus, and this is a video that I feel like is pretty long overdue. I feel like you guys have been kind of waiting on this one for a while. It's one that I've kind of been meaning to make. It's kind of a combination type video. It's going to be me explaining to you guys how to get started at MX Simulator. Even though I feel like pretty much everyone has this game already, I know a lot of people don't have this game, or a lot of people are still new to this game, or they've had it for a while and they haven't played it a whole bunch to get good enough at it. So I'm going to be explaining how to really get started at this game, the steps you need to take, and explain some things that might be confusing for a lot of you first time players. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys the setup that I use, and I'm going to be explaining the whole setup thing. Not the setup in detail because I don't even know that, but I'm going to be explaining, the importance of setups and why they're important and why sometimes they're not very important. So I'm going to be getting into all that. First, I want to tell you guys one of the main tips for getting into MX Simulator. And if you're wanting to get fast at this game right away, that's not going to happen. I mean, you might be, pretty good at the game from the start and just pick it up quicker, but you're not going to be super quick off the start. Anyone that plays MX Simulator can tell you that it takes time to be able to play this game, and to be able to play this game at a high level, it takes tons and tons of time. I mean, that's no secret. But the first step is to find a track or multiple tracks like this one that I'm on. This is Action MX, and this is an older track. You want to find older tracks because the older tracks are built in a way that they're beginner friendly, but there are still some newer tracks. But you want to find a track that's like this, that has nice, easy, mellow jumps. It's got some elevation to it. It doesn't always have to have elevation to it, but this one has a little bit. Everything is nice and forgiving. You've got a little bit of braking bumps here. You don't have like gnarly ruts or anything like that. It's just got a couple of berms, usually a nice big mellow outside, and then a pretty nice inside that's pretty mellow as well. But this is a very beginner friendly track, and the stock tracks, I don't recommend those. They're too slippery, and I just don't think the stock tracks are good to learn on. But you're going to want to find a track that you can learn on and practice on and just get better at the basics of the game. I know it's very tempting. You want to go download the newest Supercross track or the newest Outdoor National replica, and you want to go and rip those just because, I mean, those tracks are sick. Everyone wants to ride the replica tracks. But if you're a beginner, that is the worst mistake you can make because those tracks are extremely difficult. The Supercross tracks are hard. Supercross in general is hard. I'll get into that here in a minute. But the Outdoor National tracks, they're gnarly, they're rough, they're just extremely hard for beginners and very discouraging. And when you ride on a track like that and you can't even make it around a corner, you put the game down. And that's not what you want to do when you're first learning this game. You want to find tracks that are like this, that are mellow, they're easy to ride, they're very good for learning the basics of jumping, the basics of cornering, the basics of very simple braking bumps, very simple ruts, just like that right there. And that's what you want. So, like I said, this is a good track. A lot of JG's earlier tracks, JGMX, a lot of his early tracks are good. The best thing that I can recommend you do is go either on the MX Simulator forums, or even better, go to tmfactoryracing.com. Just type in TM Factory Racing in Google, and it should be the first one to come up. And you can go and look at pretty much all the tracks that have come out in this game. There are a ton of tracks on that website. Click through some tracks that sound interesting to you, and then look at the picture if it has a picture. Chances are if it doesn't have a picture, it's not a very good track. Pretty much all of the good tracks have pictures. And look for tracks like this. Like I said, if you go back in time, if you go back to 2012, 2013, or even before that, you're going to find a lot of tracks like this that I'm riding on, and these are the best ones. So just look for a track in the picture that is very mellow looking, not in a sense of not having jumps. You're going to want jumps, but that looks pretty forgiving, not rough and gnarly, not just lined with ruts. And just download it. Check it out. If you like the track, put some time into it. Ride on it. Do laps over and over. And if the track is too difficult for you, put it on the back burner. Don't beat yourself up trying to ride a track that you can't ride, because you might learn that way, but chances are you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. It's not going to feel satisfying. You want to find a track that fits your skill level, that you can learn on at the pace that you ride at. And as you get better at that track, you start to link sections up and you start to get better at the game, and you gradually get better, and then you can move on and ride a track that's a little bit harder. And you don't just have to ride one track. You can find 4 or 5 different tracks that fit your riding style or your riding level, and you can just keep practicing those tracks and kind of cycle them in and out. I do recommend going and doing some online, just open lobby stuff, not competitive races, but just some regular open lobby stuff. That's a good way to get fast. But you don't want to just jump straight into it. You want to kind of ease into it and learn the game. You want to learn how it works and the basics of it. And that's why I really recommend learning on tracks like this, very simple, mellow tracks, and then you can slowly increase the difficulty. And I recommend starting on outdoor nationals. You can start on Supercross if you want to, but jumping into Supercross, some people find Supercross easier. I don't, especially if you're starting out. I think tracks like this are easier, and then you can kind of figure out what you like. But if you want to download some Supercross, go for it. I mean, I'm not telling you that you can't download those replicas and stuff. You definitely can, but I just think that'll be very discouraging for you starting out. But this is a great one. Just tracks like this. Look for tracks like this. But that's as far as, or that's as much as of tip that I have. Or oh my God, I cannot speak. That is all of the tips that I have as far as like on track. Like the best thing you can do to just get the basics down would be to ride mellow tracks like this. I mean, that's common sense. Ride a track at your skill level. If you're in real life, you're not going to go out and ride Redbud right after the national. You're not going to do that. You're going to go to your local track that's super simple, that's very beginner friendly. So treat this game like you would in real life, and you have to grind. You really have to play the game a lot. And you can play it casually and get decent at it like I am. I've been playing this game casually for a long time, and I've gotten to this skill level. But if you want to just be a pro at the game, you've got to put in hours and hours and hours. And you can play this game casually. You can definitely get to a level to where you can play this game casually, and you don't have to put in 12 hours every day. If you just sit down and play it for 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, or a couple hours every other day, you're going to build up your skills. Anyway, let's get into the bike setup, and I'll explain all of that to you guys. First of all, I'm going to show you guys what my first person settings are. A lot of people want to know this. So my field of view is 118. My first person height is 0.66. And my first person angle is 17. Take a screenshot of it if you want to. Get your phone out. Snap a picture. That is my first person settings. Let's get over into the real settings, the actual rider or bike settings. Right here is the main menu. And to go to bike setup, you just click on bike setup. And this is where you do the very, very basic stuff. This stability slider is extremely important if you're a beginner. Extremely, extremely important if you're a beginner. And I'll explain that here in a minute. I just have auto clutch RPMs maxed out, braking torque front maxed out, braking torque rear at 250, and then max stab speed at 60. I don't know what that one means, but arcade physics, turn that off. If you're brand new to the game, go in and turn that off. That's not going to help you whatsoever if that's on. It won't help you learn the game any. My front brake is anti-lock, my rear brake is normal. Stop wheelies, I got it on front only, so I'm not doing stoppies. Automatic shifting, no. If you're a beginner, I recommend automatic shifting. You don't need to be worrying about your shifting when you're just trying to ride. So put on automatic shifting if you're new. When you feel comfortable, turn it off. I rode automatic shifting for a super long time. I've got dab when stopped, yes. Sticky sit dab I have is no. What this means, if you press the sit dab button, if it's sticky, if it's turned to sticky, so if that says yes, your rider will sit and he'll stay sitting. And then when you press it again, he'll stand. My rider, I just have him standing up the whole time. I just have this one as no. That's my personal preference. Realign after fall, I have that set as no. If you're a beginner, you might want to turn this on. Reverse steering, yes. It seems confusing at first, but turn on reverse steering. And then lean indicator, turn that off. You could use it if you're a beginner, but I just recommend turning it off and getting used to your leaning actually in the game. So we're going to talk about the stability slider, and this is something that I feel like confuses a lot of people. So what this stability slider is It's a quick change advanced stability setup. So we're going to go in here and look at the advanced stability setup. If you notice these numbers, we'll just take the first three, for example. This is my setup right now, 25, 53, 53. If we go back and we move this any at all, check out these first numbers. Oops. No, wrong thing. 20, 66, 45. It changes all of these numbers. And if you paid attention to any of these other ones, for the most part, it probably changed every single one of them. We go back in and change it to 75. These numbers are different again. So what happens here, this advanced stability this stability setup is so to explain it simply, if you have this set at 75, this is going to be your advanced stability. It's a very stable type of stability. If you turn it all the way down to 1, it's a much less stable stability setup. It's just a quick adjust. If you want it to be as stable as possible, this is it. I guess you can maybe turn these all the way up. I don't know what happens then. But it's just a very quick adjust. So it's very good for beginners. And my recommendation is turn it up to 95, 100 if you're brand new. And what you can do, don't even worry about adjusting this stuff in here. Just slowly begin to creep this down until you get comfortable with this, and then tone it down a little bit more. And then you get comfortable with this, and then you tone it down a little bit more until you get comfortable with this. But this is just a very quick adjust. That's all the stability slider is. Once you go in here and edit, so say I want to turn my leveling to 23, this to 36, this to 65, this one to 18. This is, don't do this exact setup or anything. This is just me explaining. So if I want to do this, it doesn't matter anymore. If I touch this, then it will go back and it will change all of the stuff that I have manually adjusted. So once you adjust something in here individually, if you adjust the stability slider right here, it will change what you have. Like I said, this is just a quick. And this right here is my suspension and gearing. I'm pretty sure that this is Kellen's that he released. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. I've messed with my settings a good amount in this game, but I think that's what this is. I'm happy with this suspension. I really like it. Again, you guys can screenshot this and use this. I'm going to get back to my advanced stability for you guys there, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit when I'm readjusting it back. So the advanced stability setup really controls the game as far as how the game feels. This is the one that I'm comfortable with, but there's no secret setup in this game. There's no such thing as a secret setup. You just have to play this game. You just have to learn how this game works. You can use my setup. You can try and learn on it, but chances are you're not going to like it very much. You're probably not going to like it, especially starting out. But it's here if any of you guys want it. If any of you guys know how to play the game already and you want something different, this is my setup. And if any of you guys are beginners and you're looking for a setup to just kind of start out on, you can maybe try it, but chances are it's probably not going to work very good for you. So like I said, what you need to do is those sliders. That's the best thing. The stability slider. Just start it up high and then slowly get comfortable and slowly work it down. I think I got comfortable when I was finally done with it at like 20, I think was where I was at, or 15 or something like that. And then I kind of started playing with this one. But you can learn the game with one of these, just the stock stability. You can learn the game with that. That's how I learned the game. But eventually you're going to want something a little bit more. I'll go back into my advanced stability here, let you guys see it, copy it if you want to. But I just wanted to make this video, let you guys know that this game, it does take time to learn, but you can play it casually. You don't have to spend your whole life learning this game to get decent at it. It just takes some patience, some practice, and some time. It is frustrating at first, but if you give it a little bit of time, if you really get into it, if you give the game a chance, I'm sure you'll love it. It feels amazing once you learn it. It's very satisfying, And hopefully these tips helps you out a little bit. These are like the main things that I really think of when trying to explain this game to a beginner. Like, it does feel weird at first how when you start out you're turning the opposite way, but you have to think it's leaning, it's not turning. So if you're just starting out, when from a stop, when you take off, if you think about it, you kind of do, when you lean to the left, your bars turn to the right. But once you get going at speed, when you lean to the left, your bars turn to the left. I mean, just kind of sit there and think about, if you were sitting on the bike, if you lean to the left. If you're just sitting stopped, if you leaned to the left, your bars would turn to the right. But when you're going down a straightaway and there's a corner coming up and you're actually riding, when you lean to the left, the bars turn to the left. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Anyway, I want this video to help some people. If you guys want to learn how to install skins and stuff, I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there, but if you guys really want me to make a video on that, I will try. Anyway, have a good one, guys. I hope this video helps you guys.